lost a lot of money, but at the same time, I got a lot of knowledge, like the School of Hard Knocks, and I'm able to, be in the position I am now with no student debt and have a great family and a great house and no credit card debt because of my knowledge and my drive from that experience to get my money back kind of out of the mortgage industry.
50 years ago, people staked out their property, bought a house, and stayed there forever. Now the average person buys a new home every 6 years, having 5 homes in their lifetime. There's now things like a starter home, a middle home, a summer home, a second home, a cabin, downsizing. Today's guest is Justin Larson with Movement Mortgage. He is an Army veteran who was deployed to Iraq in 2004, and he came back and got a home loan that was unfavorable for him and other veterans. It caused him to be upside down and living in debt. He learned from that experience. He got completely out of debt, got into a new home loan, and wants to help other veterans do the same. He's passionate about helping veterans, educating people, and making sure they get into the right payment, the right loan for them and their families. My name's Travis Sims, and I am the founder and CEO of AGC Accelerated Global Connections. And this is the AGC Experience.
Banner season. It's about mailboxes, not inboxes. Building better relationships has never been easier. Using our platform, you can easily send a card and personalized gift to anyone with a simple tap or click or totally fully automated. Stop the digital overload and do something that will mean so much more. Banner season is the easiest way to wow people and the way for you to really get their attention. Develop stronger relationships, increase revenue, and improve your retention. You know you've reached an entirely new level when you inspire customer referrals and you don't have to constantly ask for them. For more information, contact Bo Young at 320-249-1576 or go to betterappreciation.com.
Well, I'm super excited to have my friend Justin Larson on the AGC Experience podcast show. And Justin, I think I met you at a networking thing probably, was it close to 2 years ago now?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Oh my gosh. Justin Larson is with Movement Mortgage. A fantastic guy. He got to know him and now your family. It's just exciting to have you in this space and to actually interview you. It's going to be so much fun. Yeah. And you're also a part of the AGC leadership team in the Woodbury location. So this is going to be a fun podcast for those of the listeners and the audience that don't know you so well. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'm a father. I have 2 kids with one on the way coming really quick here in January.
Oh, congratulations. This is so exciting.
Yeah, it's a life changer for sure. We're going from like man-on-man coverage with the kids to zone coverage. So we're just kidding.
Yes. I grew up in a big family. I'm the oldest of 8. So yeah, it's a big...
That's not our goal.
That's funny. Yes.
Not 8.
Right. 3's good. Maybe
3's probably for now. Yeah, for sure. We'll see how we handle that.
Sure.
It's going to be fun though.
So you're married for how long?
We've been married for 10 years almost. 10 years, it would be 2020. We were married in 2010.
Wow, that's an accomplishment by today's standards.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
We were kind of talking about that the other night. It doesn't seem like that long. Like when we get along well, we're good partners. So it's when I'm out, she's watching the kids, and it's a good partnership.
Good. So I didn't mean to derail you. Please tell us a little bit more about you. I just got excited because I know your family and you have such a sweet family.
Yeah, the boys keep us running for sure. I'm in that, and then I'm a part of a lot of other organizations in the community that support veterans, and Rotary supports a lot of youth development programs in our community. We're out in Lino Lakes area, but I kind of luckily with my job, I can get out to anywhere. Most of the stuff is done remotely nowadays, so I don't even end up meeting people until closing a lot of times.
Oh, sure.
But
in busy life nowadays, that's probably become a norm. Even that a lot of the transactions happen over the internet, or in online or what have you.
Right, and it's at first it was a little bit tough to get used to, but there's a lot of numbers that get thrown around with mortgages and making sure people understand what they're getting themselves into. That took a little bit of learning. I made it really easy on people to be able to understand, get things to me without having to drive over across town to get the paperwork in and that kind of thing. There's lots of medias to get that, whether it's email or on the website. You can just upload it. You can take pictures and send them to me. People do that all the time. So it's really made life easier with the technology aspect of it.
For sure. So you mentioned you're in other organizations. I know that you're in Toastmasters, right?
Yeah.
How long have you been doing Toastmasters?
Toastmasters I've been in for about a year now.
Okay.
Trying to get the ums and ahs out of the speeches. Yes. And it's an ongoing project. Definitely, you can always get better at
best way to describe that.
You're always getting better and better at different things. So, I'm in quite a few different organizations. Obviously, AGC, I'm in Trust Vets, which is a veterans-only networking group for business owners. There's Hometown Heroes Outdoors, which is a nonprofit, takes veterans fishing and hunting trips. Let's see, what other...
So I'll just ask you, so you're in several veteran organizations.
Yeah.
So you've served?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was actually,
tell us about that.
Definitely. I was deployed in 2004. I was a gunner on a Humvee. I was a combat engineer was our job.
Wow.
So I got to carry a machine gun.
Oh my gosh.
Definitely missed that. And then we had a 9mm that we kept on our side in case the machine gun went down. After that, I came back, and just a little story about it, like how I got into mortgage. I got back, and we're all buying houses, all those guys getting back, and the gentleman that was working with me decided that he told me about this other loan because I didn't want a mortgage insurance on it. But I'm like, well, what about a VA loan? Can I do that? And he kind of guided me to this other loan. It was actually an 80-20 loan, which I would never want anybody to get into one of those. Yeah. But it's 80% in the first half and then 20% on the second half of your mortgage. And then it's a balloon payment after 7 years on that second. So it's a really crappy kind of product.
Oh, yeah.
You can't even, unless it's like a small bank, we don't even have them really anymore. But he got, I was wondered for a while, like, why did he get me into this different type of loan instead of my VA loan? And back in the day, people were paid off of mortgage loan officers were paid off of the products that they sold versus just the loan amount. Yeah. So now I'm like, that happened to me, and I had a rental property, and people just started gravitating towards me about their rights as renters, their rights as landlords, where to go for different things to get done with houses. So it was like a natural progression to get into the industry.
Yeah, so you lived the experience.
Yeah.
And gosh, what a horrible thing to go through, but be able to pass that knowledge and what you learned from it on to others and save them from that same experience.
Right.
And I also just want to say thank you for your service. I appreciate it. We have a lot of veterans inside AGC, which is awesome. I'm not a veteran personally, but my dad served. I have lots of my family, my grandparents, aunts and uncles and things like that. My son served, and so I have a soft spot for veterans. And we have a give back component in AGC for veterans. So, and you mentioned Trust Vets. It's a great organization that's focused on veteran-owned businesses and things. So
try to do business with each other. It's a nice setup.
Yeah. So thank you for what you do, and it just pains me to know that veterans coming back, probably a lot of them went through that same experience that you did in trying to buy a home and finding the right person to do it, and then having that awful experience of being upside down in this loan that they can't get out of and don't know what to do with. Yeah,
it's a tough spot, especially for families. You know, you have kids and you have these student loans and everything that you're having to figure out, and then to get in. How I found out about how upside down it kind of was so the first loan was interest only loan, and principal wasn't going down. And so I called up the bank. I'm like, why is my principal not going down? They're like, oh, it's interest heavy on the front end. And then your principal is going to be added to it. So my mortgage is actually going to go up like $250 a month. Plus I had that second mortgage. So I worked and went to school full time and paid off my second mortgage in 9 months. So I paid off $20,000 in 9 months when I was going to school full time.
Wow.
So that was a really cool goal to get to. But overall, like the market dropped after that. I sold the house. I bought it. Originally it was like $117,000 and I sold it for $86,000. So it was lost a lot of money, but at the same time I got a lot of knowledge, like the School of Hard Knocks, and I'm able to, be in the position I am now with no student debt and have a great family and a great house and no credit card debt because of my knowledge and my drive from that experience to get my money back kind of out of the mortgage industry.
Yeah, I'm so glad you shared that. And it's because, all of us probably have been through some type of financial struggle in our lives. And whether we overcome it or we didn't overcome it or we're still in it, right? I mean, you can still be in it.
Yeah.
And for you to say, hey, I'm living credit card debt free, which is a big deal. And think about majority of our audience, our listeners, the people at home, that if you added another $300 to the mortgage, it would be a game changer. It'd be like, I've got to figure out how many less groceries I can buy. And it's one of the things when I was founding AGC too. It wasn't because that it's a business networking organization, and it's not just that I want you to get more business and I want you to get more referrals and things like that, but it really translates to, are you going to be able to pay your mortgage? Can I help you do that?
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to put the thing in the garage you've always wanted, or take the vacation you've always wanted to do? Can we help you get to financial freedom through the business that's being done in the room that's going to translate into those things? So I love that that's at the inner core of who you are and what you do as a mortgage advisor. And it just, I appreciate that about you.
Definitely. Yeah, it's a process. The whole mortgage thing, it's scary, a lot of moving parts. And to have somebody in your corner to be able to guide you through the process, make it not so big and scary, because it is a huge purchase. It's probably the largest purchase of most people's lives.
Yes.
And a lot of people move a couple times, so they experience it only a couple times, but it is very intense. And like knowing how much you have to pay every month, and is that affordable? What are the rest of the bills going to look like? So a lot of times what I do is people will be looking at houses or wanting to like $300,000 house. Well, let's back up. What do you want your payment to be is what I ask them.
Sure.
So then we can work off of that. So like if your payment you want it to be $2,000 a month, let's take a look at building it that way. And now we're more comfortable. And then in my initial conversation with people, I'll send them out the numbers. So I'll get like an application and I'll work it up, and then I'll send out the numbers right away, just a fictitious quote. So they right away know how much, get a temperature for it. Like, is this what you're looking for? And then off of that, now we can go up or down in a direction. But right away they know the two bottom line numbers, the big scary numbers, like what's my cash to close, what's my monthly payment, and now we can adjust it accordingly. Like if we need to have more people or more seller pays, or if we need to have more of a down payment, what does that all look like right away? And then it's not a question, and it's a big decision. It's a big decision for a family.
Interesting topic. I'm now on my third mortgage, right?
Yeah.
And having the last time moved from out of state into a new state.
Oh yeah.
And I think back, if you looked at my grandparents and other people's grandparents that are watching or listening, they would buy a house and live there for the rest of their life, providing some major thing didn't get in the way. In today's world, that's very different. What do you find the average person, like how many homes will they own in their lifetime? Do you know? Is there a statistic?
It's more of like I think it's about every 6 years. 6 years people will move. And if you kind of look at the stages in life, it's funny because a couple will get married and they'll buy their first house. Yeah. And then they'll have their first kid or their second kid. And all of a sudden the kids are, 4 years old. Now they're growing out of this size of house and they need a little bit bigger. They want a bigger yard. So then the next life change happens. So they have another kid now. Okay, we need an extra bedroom. So we buy a different house. Yeah. Or a job change. All that stuff triggers for somebody to move. So in a lifetime, people normally probably own 5 homes throughout their lifetime.
See, it's so different from what it was back. I mean, there's terminology nowadays like a starter home, right? Back then, it was just a home. Yeah. You bought your home, and you would live. My grandparents lived in the same home. They're practically their entire life. Once they bought their home, that was it. And so now, I mean, I'm even looking at my own self, and I know you recently bought a new home as well and moved as your family is growing, right? And it so I'm now at the spot where I'm in that middle home. It's not the starter home anymore. It's the middle home. But now I'm already looking ahead going, it's just 2 of us. This is a lot of home for just 2 people. And I'm also, as I get a little bit older, I think, I don't really need that. How often do we ever go sit in that other family room space? Right. Or how often do we use the finished basement? It's like we only go there, a few times a year, and the rest of the time that space is not getting used. Right. And so I'm also already looking ahead going, I could be more of a minimalist, and I could downsize into that home that I wanted to retire in. Right. Something.
And then a lot of people end up getting a second home, a snowbird or like a cabin because of that. They downsize and they maybe use that money to invest in another property, a second property for summers to have the kids, the grandkids to come up. Yeah. It's always ever changing throughout people's lives. People are always moving, or they move in, get settled, and then you're like, okay, what's the next steps of
and finding an expert like yourself, because I can already tell just by some of the questions that you've been answering here that you're less of a transactional person and more about, let's see if the finances fit for you. Like, are you going to be comfortable with this payment instead of trying to get the biggest thing out of them? Yeah. And you care about what is the why behind they want to move or want to buy a home or what have you, so that, again, with your own experience and having gone through a mortgage where you're upside down and all that stuff, that how valuable it is to have someone like you in the back pocket. Yeah. And especially if the average person is 5 times in their lifetime considering a purchase on a home, to be able to come back to you again and again and again. Are you finding that already? How long have you been in the industry?
I've been doing it for 5 years almost here. And then,
so you're probably just starting to come into some of those next set of.
Yeah, it's surprising. Some people, move in. The average is about 6-7 years that people stay in the house. So some people will stay for 10 and you don't talk to them, but you kind of keep a relationship going with them. But other people will be calling you all the time because they're always kind of have their eye on the market, the next house. So I've had some people that have called me, multiple times, like investors and that kind of thing. Even families, I've had them move up just in a couple of years, 3-4 years. So it's an average. So some families end up moving quicker. So one of my friends, he's bought, he's going to be moving probably into his 3rd house here. Okay. But it's just life changing. They got married, they bought a house, and then they had 1 kid, and that was big enough. So they moved into the 2nd house, and now the kids are getting into middle school, so now they want something with like a sport court and a pool and that kind of thing. So it's a progression of life, and it's funny you say that because I see it more of a relationship building is like what my job is. It's not, it can't be transactional because it's such a long transaction from start to finish. If you turn in applications and you find a house, it's probably going to be you go searching for a house after you get approval, and it's probably going to be like a 45-day interaction with getting everything put together and all the steps that go along with it. Not everybody gets approved right away, so you have to guide them down the path. I've had a gentleman that we're going to be closing this month. he emails me from the other side of the world saying, hey, I want to buy a house. What do I got to do? And we've been working on his credit and getting him ready to, and now all the fruits of our labor for a year gets him into a house. And I mean, that's a promoter right there. He's going to tell all of his friends that, hey, this is the guy that stuck by my side when other lenders didn't stay up with me.
Yes. Well, and because probably obviously not all mortgages are created equal.
Yeah.
Not everyone has that 800 credit score.
Sure. Yep.
Or has done everything in life. Like I've got 0 credit cards out there. And so it sounds like that you had some experiences where you've been able to take someone that might not have been in an optimal situation to buy and help guide them into a place where they can get there.
Yeah. We have a credit simulator I use a lot. It simulates like a what-if scenario of what if we do this with your credit, this is how much your credit's going to go up, the time frame it's going to take. So I can really put together a step-by-step guide to doing that. And it's funny you mention it, but I can help people in Minnesota, Wisconsin. That's where I'm licensed right now. Yeah. And obviously our company, I can refer out to pretty much any state. But it's really nice to be able to help people even if they're moving in to the area, because I don't have to drive out to meet them. Like they can do everything online. So it really makes that experience so much easier for people to get to that goal of home ownership, even if they don't have to sit in your office to do it.
Yeah. So I recently got married.
Yeah. Okay. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm like 5 weeks married tomorrow.
So I asked you earlier, how do you feel?
How does it feel? Oh, we fight all the time. Yeah. I wish we'd have stayed just living together. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
It's marital bliss. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
But reason I brought that up is I'm just kind of curious because how important is it spouse's credit versus your credit? Sure. Do you find like both people need to be in perfect situations? Sure. Is it, can you use one versus the other? And I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah. So like you have a borrower and a co-borrower. They don't have to necessarily be married. So it can be a kid and their parents. Yeah. It can be siblings. Like I've had all sorts of those situations. What we do is we pull from all three credit bureaus, and then we take the middle number. And then if you have a co-borrower on there, it's the middle number, whichever one's the lower of the two. So, but one thing is with Movement Mortgage, we're a direct lender for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So we have lower guidelines than some other banks would provide. Wow. So we can go down to like a 580 credit score on some of our loan products. We can also go up to 55% debt to income ratio, which a debt to income ratio is your amount of debts versus what your income is. So that looks at like your student loans or credit cards, car payments, plus your house or your mortgage payment. And then we divide that out. So it's a puzzle to put it together a lot of times. Yeah. But it's really nice. Movement offers a lot of products that allow people to get into home ownership. So we have first time home buyers products. We have these renovation projects. I've done a couple with a couple members of AGC to be able to, they find the house, but it just needs some work, but the bank won't pass the appraisal on it. So that's when I get a call and they're like, hey, can you do this? I'm like, yeah, we can put that right on the renovation, whether it's siding or needs a new roof, or one guy needed a new driveway because it was all broken up and cracked, and into the garage it was not level. So it really opens the doors for people that are deserving to get a house, and we just have to put the puzzle together.
I love that you're getting some business through AGC. It's why I created it. But I also love that other members of AGC were able to find an expert inside AGC to be able to serve their needs and get them to what they needed. And that came because you built that relationship. Yeah. So that's awesome.
I do a lot of that with AGC. I meet people and then I'll go out to coffee and get to know them, see if they're if I want to plug them into my network as a solid referral partner. And it just grows really quick after that. Like it just starts with a face-to-face conversation. And I do a lot, like most of my actual marketing isn't like on billboards or anything like that. I take my marketing dollars and put them towards, going to lunch with people, meeting people face to face, and going to these opportunities like the networking events to really just, that's the funnest part of my job. Like I love going to meet people and shaking hands and having fun. Like we go to Topgolf for networking,
Right. Yeah.
You can't necessarily do that in corporate American jobs unless you're kind of upper management. But it's a balance, like I work hard, but then I also network hard because it's all about the relationships.
Well, it's an organic approach. I mean, you could put yourself on billboards and all those things, and people are going to see who you are. But I'll drive past billboards every day and do business with the person that I really had a good connection with.
Right.
And I'm like, you know what? This guy is smart. He knows what he's doing. I had just a great connection with him. He took an interest in me and my family and what I was doing. And I feel comfortable. I have a level of trust, because we're talking about not only someone's biggest financial decision on buying their biggest home, their home being their biggest thing that they probably spend the most money on in their lifetime. But it's also, you have to dig into all their stuff, right? Like you have to look in the closet and go, oh yeah, I've got X amount in credit card debt, or I haven't tucked away as much in savings as I should, and now I've got to share that with you. So trust is really important with those type of conversations.
It's huge. At first it was kind of like, I felt like it was intrusive, but it kind of, we got to paint a picture to the underwriter, showing them that you're a quality person, that you're going to pay this loan back, or else they're not going to give you hundreds of thousands of dollars to go walk out and buy a house. But it's the most important part in that is honesty with when you're applying for a mortgage. Like, you got to tell us some things. So like, they just made a change in the credit credit reports back. It was a little while now, but before, they used to have, like, if you had back child support, or you didn't pay on your other government loans, it would show up on the credit report. They can remove that from the credit report. So you have to tell the loan officer, or else when we do, the title company does the check 3 weeks into the transaction, 2 weeks into the transaction, that can kill the whole deal. Because if you owe the government money, we can't get you into certain loan products. And if you don't qualify for the other loan products, the conventional or something like that, all of a sudden we're displacing families that are planning for you to buy their house. They're packing up their kids and they're moving to somewhere, and now it's a ripple effect, and it can be catastrophic. So it's good to it's embarrassing maybe, but at the same time, let us know that what's going on, because we're going to find out, and it's going to be a lot worse if we find out later than right up front. Because if we find out up front, now we can restructure it, we can do something, and we're not affecting other people.
Yeah, and you don't get the surprise in the last hour of the game.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You don't fumble at the 1 year, and everybody's really happy.
What do you find most rewarding about what you do?
Most rewarding, I love going to closings and just taking in the energy. So I have a couple closings today, and people it's their best day of the week. Like Fridays, like a lot of people like to close on Fridays, or sometimes Thursdays, take a long weekend. And the closing and like the being a part of changing somebody's life in a positive way really, really is fulfilling for me.
So you like to actually be at the closing table with the client.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So a lot of times we don't meet or do a transaction, but I still,
it's the first time.
Like, hey, it's good to you see a face with a name. Sure. And
other times it was the opposite. You worked with them all the way through it and held their hand all the way through. And the reason I point that out is, I'm just thinking in my own experience, right? And because you work closely with the realtor, because they're taking you around and showing you places. Yeah. And then I remember at the closing, it was like my realtor and the title person, but the mortgage person wasn't present.
Yeah.
And so I find that interesting, and I find it just a step above what, I didn't know you then. but a step above what the previous mortgage person I worked with did.
Yeah, my kind of my target market is what gravitates towards me is a lot of first time or second time home buyers where their families are growing. It's kind of the same situation we're in. I do a lot of veteran loans because a lot of people in the industry don't fully understand the whole veteran loan setup. It's a little bit different, but it's a great product for veterans and they've earned it. So definitely, if you know a veteran, let them know that I do VA and they deserve it. They have great interest rates with the VA loans, and they're a great product. I try to get everybody that qualifies into them because they are such a great product for our veterans.
Sure. And I'm certain, just like we said earlier, that veterans often want to work with other fellow veterans. It makes sense. So.
It's that whole trust thing. It's already there. It's a weird niche, but once you walk in a room with veterans and you already feel like you know everybody, even though you don't know anybody's name or anything like that, but you all signed on the dotted line that you might not come back from this decision, but you're doing it for something bigger than you.
And it's not only that, but at some point in your life as a veteran, when you're serving, it could have been like you're trusting that person with your life.
Yeah.
That you may have just met or known only a handful of months or whatever, but there has to be that underlying, I got your back.
Yeah.
And that's just awesome. So, and I think, at least my experience with other veteran business owners and salespeople and entrepreneurs too, they tend to carry that out with everyone they work with. It's like, I've got your back, I'm here for you. And they have that kind of leadership skill.
The attitude of service above self. And I definitely, I love that part of the job is serving other families to get them to their goals, because everybody wants the best for their family, and a solid, great home is something that's really, really makes the family. When you think of memories as a kid and that kind of thing, a lot of them all gravitate right around where your house was. You do these family trips and that kind of thing, but everything, it's the heart of family is that house, and being able to have all those family memories of what makes us Americans. It's an American dream,
Absolutely.
I have a house and kids and a family. It's awesome.
So if someone in our audience is moving to Minnesota, they're moving to Wisconsin, or they are a renter and it's time to do a house purchase, or they're outgrowing their home, or they're ready to downsize. How do we find you? Now, I know you're going to be at AGC events, and that's how I'm going to find you. But
come to AGC.
Yes. But what are some other ways to find you?
Oh, sure. So I have a website, applywithjustin.com. It's really simple. Just apply with Justin, all put together, spelled out, .com. Gets you right to my website. You can find me on Facebook at Justin Larson Home Loans.com. Or not .com. Just basically put in hashtag Justin Larson Home Loans, and you'll find my business page there. And then my contact information is on both of them, so you can call me, text me, email me. Text has actually been huge. I get a hold of somebody, and then a lot of times we'll just text back and forth through a lot of the transaction. After I get the initial quote out to them, and they kind of know what they're doing, they'll just shoot me a text like, "Hey, what does this look like?" And when getting into the industry, I didn't think it would be that much text messaging, but a lot of younger generations with kids, they just want a one-off quick text message, and sometimes I have to call them back because it's not an easy text answer.
Right.
Sometimes there are a little bit, a couple layers to it, but that's how you can get a hold of me.
Great. So we can find you on social media. We go right to your website. I love how that you used your name and did some branding there. I think that's super smart. And I just appreciate you. I appreciate your leadership. I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate your role inside AGC. I know just from working with you that you're a servant leader and you want to help others and you want to help people win. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for being a guest today.
Thanks
on
for
the
having
AGC
me.
Experience. It's awesome.
This is fun.
Oh, good. And I just want to thank our audience and our listeners today for tuning in. Thank you. Please share this podcast with others that are business owners owners, salespeople, entrepreneurs, CEOs, executives that could get some value from learning from high quality business professionals. And as we spread across the country, as we spread across the world, we're going to be watching for that AGC logo to find quality people like Justin Larson.
Yeah.
So appreciate
Thank you for having me today.
Thanks a lot. Absolutely.
This podcast was produced by Elation Studios. Go to www.elationstudios.co. That's www.elationstudios.co to learn more. Elation Studios. Discover your voice, clarify your vision, build your life.